Alright, so I want us to quickly work on displaying the user, that is the current logged in user. I want us to quickly work on that. Let me quickly refresh. So yeah, I want us to be able to display the logged in or the current user right around here. Alright, so in order for us to be able to do that, let's quickly go into our app folder here, and then we'll create a new folder that is called actions. So create a folder that is called actions. Then inside we have to create a new file called what? Get session.ts. Alright, so inside this get session.ts, what we want to do is I want to first of all import get server session from NextAuth. Alright, then right after importing that, we want to quickly come down here and then we'll import the auth options that we created. So auth options, okay, let's wait a bit. So auth options here, then we import it from our nextauth/routes. Okay, then right after that, what we want to do is we want to come here and then generate. So let me not waste too much time and just use the REPO to generate. Then we just clean it up by cutting this out. Then we cut the return out too as well, like this. Then we are left with just this. So with that, we just have to return what? Await. Yeah, we have to make sure that this is asynchronous. So we set the async here, and then we'll make sure that we are returning await get server session. Then we pass in the auth options. Alright, let me quickly lower the volume a bit. Okay, I want to lower the volume, but I don't know if it will affect the recording. Alright, let's just work with it. So we have this out here. Alright, we have it out here. I don't know. Okay, let me just turn it down. Okay, it's cool. So we have this out here, and we've been able to set this up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to quickly create a new file called get current user. Okay, so get current user.ts is here. Then inside this get current user, what we want to first of all do is we can just use our REFCA to generate this. Then we just clean this one out. We clean this one out too as well. Then we can now work. So inside here we want to make this a try catch block. Then in case there's an error, we can return no, right? Noise. Then we want to make sure that we set the error to type any. Then over here inside our try block, we want to say concession, and that session is going to be await get session that we created in the other file there. So we are going to import it like this. So yes, get session, then we import it like this, nice and clean. Okay, so right after importing it, yeah, you also have to make sure that this is asynchronous. So nice one. So right after this, what we want to do is we want to check. So we want to check for, so we want to say that in case there's no session dot user dot email, then we want to return no. Alright, nice and clean. Then we come here and we see that, oh, come and check for the current user over here. Alright, so current user is going to be equal to, then we try to match the user with the database, or we try to find it with the database, so we can get the latest information about the user every time. So we just say prisma.user.find unique, and we're going to open this up, and then we see where. Then inside the where we can pass in what? Email session, right? Dot user dot email. nice one, as string. Nice one. So right after working with this, we want to come again and come and check if we found the current user, right? So if we didn't find the current user, so I'll say const, sorry, say if we didn't find, so if we didn't find the current user, or if there's no current user, then what we'll do is we'll just return null. Then we'll come here and then we'll come and return the current user in case everything is successful. Alright, now that we've been able to work with this, what we quickly want to go and do is we want to go to the sidebar over here. The sidebar should be right around, so inside the site, then inside, okay, I think, yeah, component, yeah, it should be in the component. So yeah, right over here. Okay, nice one. So inside this desktop sidebar here, what we want to do is we want to come and pass in the current user prop. Okay, but how do we get this current user prop? We're going to get it by, first of all, creating a variable here and calling it current user. So current user, then we would await this current user, but we have to make sure that this is an asynchronous okay, so async, right? Then, so as an asynchronous function, then we await the get current user. Okay, then that is basically it. Initialize it here. Then right after that, when we get the current user, what we want to do is we want to take the current user through a current user prop, and let's pass the current user. Nice one. And then right after that, I'll just click on the desktop sidebar here. Then over here, we want to make sure that we are receiving the current user, right? We want to make sure we are receiving the current user, and then we are going to pass this current user into our components. But before that, we need to set up an interface that will help us that will help us set the type or the interface of our current user, right? And then how we are going to be doing that is with the interface, we just say desktop sidebar props, and then over here we'll just say what current user. Then this current user is going to be getting its type definitions from user, and then we are going to be taking it from our Prisma client. Alright, so right after setting this up, we know that we have to come here and then define it. So react dot what, react node, oh sorry, react.fc. I use react node all the time. So react node fc, and then we pass in the desktop sidebar props. Nice and easy. Okay, now right after we have this, what we want to quickly do is we want to now come and create this really quick avatar, right? And then with the avatar thing that we'll create inside, we want to now pass the current user inside so that we can display whatever user information inside the actual sidebar. So what do we mean by that? The first thing is, let's make sure that this div over here is a nav. The last time we forgot to make it a nav, we made it a div. So right after that, we'll come here and then we'll create another nav element here, right? And then inside this nav element, we want to have another div, and then inside that div, we want to have what, a new component called avatar. Okay, so avatar, right? Nice one. But of course, you're going to get an error because you've not created the avatar component. How we are going to create the component is we are going to come here, and then we would create avatar.tsx. Then inside the avatar.tsx, we just say REFCE to generate some random default component. Then we'll come here and then import it. So as you can see, we just imported it, and it should compile successfully. In order for us to see what is going on, we are going to have to expand, and then you can see that we have an avatar over here. Now we are going to be passing certain stylings to make sure that everything is aligned, so take your time and let us go through it. So now this nav, we are going to give it an empty 4, so margin top 4, and then we give it a flex, then we give it a flex code, then we give it what, a justify between. Nice. Okay, so let us pass all the stylings we need to pass. So justify between, and that is basically it. Then we'll come down here inside this div over here, then we pass in our class names. Now the first class name that we are going to be passing in is what, cursor pointer. Then after, we want to make sure that on hover, whenever we hover over it, we set the opacity to be what, 75. Oh, right. Then right after doing that, what we want to quickly do is we want to set it to what, transition, so that it becomes smooth. Okay, so yeah, that is basically it for the two stylings that we have to do. Then right after that, we want to make sure that whenever we click on the div that surrounds this avatar, it basically sets is open to true. Okay, and that is what we are going to be using to handle like a couple of things, a couple of menus and stuff. So this is, so we're going to say on click, then it's going to create, we're going to use it to create an arrow function that sets is open to what, to true. Now it's going to give us an error saying that what it can't assign then to void or whatever. So we just go up here and we just come and change this, make it false, like a default value. Yeah, then that's basically it. So now that we've been able to set it up like this, what we want to do is we want to quickly pass this current user, or if you like we can just say user, right? So inside this user we just pass in the current user here, then we'll go into the avatar and then we'll take it inside. Okay, so as you can see, it's still there, nothing has changed that much. If you refresh, it's still what it is. Okay, nice one. And we are supposed to do one more thing too. Let's come back to the desktop sidebar. Let's check a few things. I want to check if we've done something here. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, actually, okay, yeah, I mean that's basically it. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay, so looking at this avatar here, what we can do is I can just come and then take the user inside, the user prop that we passed, right? So this is the user prop that holds the current user, and then we can come down here and then pass in the interface. So the interface, then we see what, avatar props, then over here we want to say the user is going to be what, taken from what, the user that we have in our Prisma client. Nice one. So right after setting that up, we want to make sure that we come inside here, we come inside here and then we define it. So we say what, react.fc, and we pass in the avatar props. Okay, nice one. Then right after doing that, we need to come here and then create our element. So the first element is going to have the class name of relative. Then inside we are going to be having another div, and inside this div we are going to have to pass in an image property. But before we pass in that image property, so that we can, let's quickly style the second div so that we don't get any errors when we pass. Like we don't have to be dealing with errors while we are trying to work, right? So over here what we can do is this class name, and what we can do is we just say relative, then inline block, oh yeah, relative and inline block, and we just say rounded full, and we say overflow heading, and we would say h9, then we pass in what, the w9 w9, then let's make sure that on medium we say what, height is 11, and on that same screen we want to set the width to 11. Nice one. So right after doing this, we can come here and then come and pass in the necessary what, image element. So we can take this image from what, next slash image. Then right after doing this, we want to make sure that we set the alt and the src and all those things, right? So we can come here and then take alt and then make sure that the alternative is avatar, and right after that we can set the src to be, we can set it to be either the user dot image or a placeholder image that we have to pass through. So let's quickly just say images slash what, user dot png. Okay, so images dot user dot png, and for this okay, let me quickly remove this so that we see. So for this you're going to have to download your placeholder, and I did some Google search and this is what I finally got to, right? Like this is what I got to. I don't know, for some weird reason, but I mean, after this project I'm going to push this particular part into the GitHub repo, so you can check the link in the description and then pick it up from the repo. So yes, I'm going to click on the full resolution, yeah, and then right after that I can just drag and drop it. Okay, let me come and look for the directory first. Let's close this, then we come down here. Yeah, we need to find public, then images. Okay, then we come and drag and drop, so I can just drop, yeah. So yeah, that's it. Then over here we can just set it to user.png. Nice one. We save it, and oh yes, and over here when we go back into the project, it says what, okay, let's refresh. We pass, yes, for this one we are going to have to pass in the fill prop. Nicely done, and it should be able to compile successfully. So as you can see, it is here, but for some weird reason, yeah, it is here nicely. Okay, so now that we can see the placeholder, what we can do is, let me quickly bring back what we passed in, which is what, the user question mark with the images, right? Then we just pass the fill here. So this is what I wanted to repass through. Okay, now we are going to be getting some errors. Okay, now what error are we getting? So you can see over here we are seeing Google user content, if you log in with the socials, you are going to be getting your default profile picture from those, like your social accounts, right? So how do we handle a situation like this, right? How we are going to be doing it is we are going to have to configure our next.config, right? So yeah, I like, I want to be able to explain it in such a way that we don't get stuck or too confused at anywhere, right? That's why I paused. So it's like, let me just refresh. Okay, then let me just log out. So I just logged out here. I just logged out. Right, so you can see, before I try to log in, let me quickly just delete every user that is inside. Let's delete every user, make sure that everything is fresh out the box. Okay, nice one. So now that everything is fresh out the box, we can just click on the sign in with Google, and I mean, because you've already authorized it in the past, so it's not going to take us to that page again. It's just going to authorize. Now after it has done this, right, we would want to display the image, right, but we will get an error. Okay, and then that's why we had that error here. Okay, so in order for us to be able to fix that, I did mention that we have to configure a few things inside our next.config.ts here. So for that, what we are going to do is we're going to take we're going to quickly take the images, and then inside here we are going to pass the domain. It says that the domain is deprecated, but me, I feel like it's like the fastest to implement, right? Because like, why do I want to pass in the other one? I think pattern whatever, but like pattern something. I forgot, but yeah, as programmers we do Google all the time, so yeah, I know I'll find out in my next Google something, my next documentation read, right? But yeah, domains are the fastest way, so I'll just use it anyways. So I'll just say rest.cloudinary. We are basically doing it for the future, okay, so don't get confused. rest.cloudinary.com, then we say avatar, don't forget your, so we say avatars dot what, user, GitHub user content, right? GitHub user content is spelled right. Then we'll come here and say what, lh3 dot google user content .com. Nice one. Okay, so what you basically want to do is, the error that you got here, you see the host name that they gave you over here, just pass the host name, or just copy and paste the host name inside the domains, and we need to restart our client server, and you can see that it is starting. I'm just trying to refresh, and we should be able to see the image display. Yeah, so basically NextJS, for the images, you need to specify where you got the image from. That is why we are doing it inside the domains. You need to specify the host name, where it's coming from. So yeah, this is basically our project. Now we're able to successfully display our current user nice and clean. Okay, so let's quickly work on one more thing I almost forgot, and that is going to be the sign in status. So like, in case a user is already in case the user is logged in and we want to show that the user is online, how do we work with that? It's going to be quite simple. So inside the avatar here, we want to come down and add like this self-closing span, right? So okay, it's not responding for some weird reason, so give it a second, let it respond. Yeah, it's not responding. Yeah, so I think it should be responding by now. Okay, nice one. Oh, not responding again. Yeah, so yeah, then I'll just clean this with my delete key and come and make this a self-closing tag. Then I'll just bring the class name here, then we pass in like a few classes. Now what are the classes that we are passing in? We say absolute then we say block, then we make sure that this is a rounded full, then we give it a bg green 500. Yeah, we need to send this. So bg green 500. What? Why is it? Why is it being weird? So bg green 500. Okay, finally it's responding. Then we make sure we pass in the ring 2. I want the alignment to stay the same. Yes, ring 2. Okay, then we say ring white, then we make sure that the top is what, 0, and the right is 0. And then right after that we make sure that we set the h2, and we also set the width 2. Then right after we say on the middle side screens, let's make the h3, and let's make this one 3 as well. Okay, so yeah, yes, so yes, that's basically it. Let us quickly refresh. So the project is refreshing. Okay, nice one. Okay, we are getting this alignment issue here. Let us check on the thought it was VS Code we were working with. Okay, let's check on the project. Okay, so looking at this, we would quickly review the stylings. This one has to do with, okay, so the images is fine, and looking at this one is also fine. Then we look at the div. Okay, the div is also looking good. Then let's check. Okay, so we have this and this, they're also looking fine. We can go into the desktop sidebar here and make sure that the stylings are exactly how we want them to be. So flex cool, justify between, and let's make this what, item center. Okay, then when we go back into our project, so when we go back into our project here and we refresh, okay, let me pause the video. Once it's done refreshing, we will come back. And okay, so it's actually done refreshing, and then you can see that our alignment issue has been fixed, nice and clean. So that's basically it for displaying our current user inside our project. And then in the next video, we are going to be working on the conversations and all the other fun stuff that come with them. So hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.